Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor episode number 129 based on novel. So let's start. This is. The next moment, the five of them opened their eyes at the same time and said in unison, "I think coming here should be a place for trials." Xiao Yan was the calmest of the five, and was not as surprised as the four. Among the other four, the most surprised was undoubtedly Ling Xian. Ling Xian opened her mouth slightly, obviously very curious. After all, Ling Xian was born in the Hall of Earth since she was a child, and her father was also the Hall Master of the Hall of Earth. In the past, Ling Xian was often in the Hall of Earth and hardly ever went out. So there is more or less curiosity and joy about the situation outside. This space teleportation formation is really a pit. Why haven't we been teleported to the formation? Mu Feng, who was beside him, scolded. How could the space teleportation formation, which was vivid in the past, make a mistake today? Mu Feng was extremely puzzled. Cough, cough. Since this is already the destination of the trial, we should make plans first. Xiao Yang hurriedly changed the subject. Originally, this space teleportation formation would be teleported to the formation point, but in the end, Xiao Yang moved a little bit, and this appeared at a place thousands of meters away from the formation point. Several people heard the words and fell silent, obviously thinking about something. Strange, why did one of the teams who chose the Red Nightmare level characters disappeared? Said dozens of Funxiang Pavilion deacons at the outermost periphery of Luoling Mountain. These dozens of deacons are naturally responsible for registering the 10 teams that chose the Red Nightmare level. As for the other teams, they are not in Luoling Mountain. This Luoling Mountain was specially prepared for the elite disciples of the Burning Incense Pavilion. Who is the team that disappeared? A deacon asked. It seems to be Xiao Yang's team. Another said. Xiao Yang, old Zhu explained, this Xiao Yang doesn't need to be concerned, just do your business. After the deacon took the lead, he started patrolling. According to my records, this should be Luoling Mountain. Under a big tree, Xiao Yang and the others gathered around and discussed. Seeing that Ling Xian had been holding back for a long time before she could say such a sentence, they rolled their eyes in disappointment. This is Luoling Mountain, but do you know what Luoling Mountain is? Ling Xian seemed to feel that she was underestimated by these four people, and immediately said angrily, "Luoling Shan?" Xiao Yang suddenly became interested when he heard the words, and the other three also nodded and looked at Ling Xian. Unfamiliar places are obviously extremely dangerous. If you want to resolve the danger, you must understand the situation clearly. This is Luoling Mountain. I don't know the exact location, but I remember that Luoling Mountain was accidentally discovered by our pavilion master as a mysterious place. In this falling spirit mountain, there are many dangers. There are countless wild beasts. If you are not careful, you will fall and fall. Ling Xian deliberately said it was terrible, but then she looked at Xiao Yang and the others without any fear. Luolingshan was formed because of the gathering of a large number of places where our Shentian powerhouses fell, so the power of these powerhouses after their death gradually turned into a strange creature. Dead beast. Ling Xian said slowly. Dead beast. No wonder I felt something strange when I first entered here, so it is. Ling Xian had just finished speaking, and Mu Feng, who was beside him, spoke up. Obviously, Mu Feng was extremely sensitive to the breath of life and death like ghosts. This should have something to do with his practice. The so-called dead beasts are the gathering of power after the death of the powerhouses, but let me explain in advance that there is no Dozian powerhouse in this Luoling Mountain, not even the powerhouses at the peak of the Do Emperor. Most of them are only about 7 stars. The strong fall, but even so, with a large enough number, the strength of the dead beast is not simple. Ling Xian said solemnly. Dead beasts are the same as the beasts in our outside world. They have flesh and blood, and even powerful dead beasts have their own consciousness and thoughts, trying to escape from this Lingling mountain space. Ling Xian continued. Dead beast. Xiao Yang said slowly. Obviously, what Ling Xian said, this dead beast should be caused by the mysterious power in the Luoling Mountain, which led to the power of the fallen powerhouses condensed into a kind of energy body after death, but Xiao Yang did not know. This energy, the body, can actually make these dead beasts have flesh and blood and even have their own consciousness, which may be the mystery of this Luoling Mountain space. These dead beasts are not easy to deal with. If there is no one-shot kill, they will make a comeback before long, and their power is even stronger than before. Ling Xian said with pursed lips. The 5-star beast in our mission is also a type of dead beast. Xiao Yang asked tentatively. Yes, But the five-element beast is far from a simple dead beast. It not only has its own consciousness, but its strength is also extremely terrifying. I am afraid that its strength is enough to rank among the top 5 among the dead beasts in the Luoling Mountain, Ling Xian said slowly. Whenever she mentioned the 5 elements of beasts, Ling Xian would feel a sense of fear, because Ling Xian clearly remembered that many people had already carried out the tasks of these 5 elements of beasts, but without exception, these people it failed, and some people even broke their hands and feet because of the task of defeating the 5 elements beast. This place should be at the outermost periphery of Luoling Mountain. Let's take a rest first and then go, Xiao Yang said, then sat down slowly, mobilizing the Do Qigong technique in his body to adjust his state. Several people saw this and followed suit. This emperor's qi is so weird. I don't know who said it. When everyone heard the words, they started their own fighting Qigong techniques, but the same scene appeared. You guys are like this too? Xiao Yang saw several people quit cultivation at the same time, and immediately realized the seriousness of the matter, and immediately frowned. The emperor's energy here is not suitable for us to absorb, Mu Feng said slowly, but his voice was extraordinarily solemn. If the emperor qi of Luoling Mountain cannot supplement their own consumption of Do qi, then for them, defeating the 5 elements beast will undoubtedly be more difficult than ascending to the sky, because the fighting qi in the body, if it is only used and not replenished like this, then sooner or later, the fighting qi will be exhausted. It seems that the mission this time is not so simple. Xiao Yang slowly looked into the distance and muttered to himself. I just came to Luoling Mountain now. The Emperor Qi in Luoling Mountain exists, but it is not suitable for Xiao Yang and the others to absorb, because they know that once they absorb the Emperor Qi of Luoling Mountain, it may cause great harm to their bodies. Because the Emperor Qi in Luoling Mountain is not Emperor Qi at all. And I always feel that this task doesn't seem to be so simple, because just before entering, Mu Zuzia said that there are 10 teams to choose Red Knight Malevel characters, so in addition to us, there are 9 teams, we be careful. Xiao Yang said slowly. Really, what are father and the others doing to actually plot against me like this? Ling Xian couldn't help complaining when she heard the words. Okay, let's wait for you to go back safely. I'm afraid that will be the beginning of the mission. Xiao Yang smiled bitterly, because from Xiao Yang's perception, in the depths of Luoling Mountain, many Xiao Yang felt something thorny is looming. Oh, there are so many bugs here. It's so humid here. It's so hot here. Along the way, Xiao Yang and the 4 kept paving the way for Ling Xian, but all they heard along the way were Ling Xuan's complaints. Oh little auntie, we are here to complete a mission this time, not for a vacation. Please be a little more conscious, okay? Mu Feng couldn't help saying. Humph. How dare you talk to me like that? Do you know who my father is? Do you know who I am? Ling Xian said to Mu Feng with her hands on her hips. Damn, this person is so troublesome. Do you want to throw it into the mud pond? Mu Feng's eyes flickered slightly, looking at Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang heard the words and coughed a few times with malicious intent. Seeing this, Mu Feng immediately walked over to Ling Xian and smirked. Little auntie, it's not my fault. After Mu Feng finished speaking, she was just about to start, but unexpectedly, Ling Xian suddenly rioted, and an invisible grudge spread instantly, looking at Mu Feng vigilantly. Okay, let's hurry up and use less vindictiveness. Xiao Yang and Mu Feng's eyes just wanted to rectify this Ling Xian a little bit, otherwise it will definitely affect the next mission more or less. To this guy indiscriminately direct action. Humph. Ling Xian looked at the mud pond not far from her, obviously a little angry. If she entered such a dirty place, then Ling Xian felt uncomfortable just thinking about it. Ads by Pub Future. Luoling Mountain is very dangerous, everyone be careful. The dramatic scene just appeared, causing Ling Xian to be incompatible with the team at this time. As for LVDI and Mu Yingying, they nodded slightly, apparently tacitly acquiescing to Xiao Yang. Practice. After all, if this Ling Xian has always maintained this aloof appearance, then for them, this task will only be more difficult. Humph, Xiao Yang, I will definitely ask my father to show you a good look when you go out this time. Ling Xian still said angrily, obviously holding a grudge that Xiao Yang wanted to throw her into the mud pond. Is there any movement? Xiao Yang didn't pay attention to Ling Xian's abuse at all, and then the huge soul force continued to emerge and probed in all directions. However, what makes Xiao Yang feel strange is that the scope of this Luoling Mountain is probably very large, and even in Xiao Yang's perception, there is a large space of hundreds of thousands. The huge area of hundreds of thousands has also created the dangers of this Luoling Mountain. What's the matter? Mu Yingying stepped forward slightly and spoke to Xiao Yang. Among the 5 people here, if the light theory probes perception, I am afraid that no one can match Xiao Yang. After all, Xiao Yang is a genuine alchemist, and his rank is not low. It's all right. Xiao Yang said casually, then his eyes moved slightly, and he slowly walked towards the front. As for Mu Yingying and the others, they continued to follow, but Xiao Yang noticed that there were hundreds of meters behind them. There seems to be some movement in the place. Damn, how can this person's perception be so powerful? A few hundred meters behind Xiao Yang and the others, a figure slowly emerged from behind the trees. At the foot of the figure, a branch is slowly appearing, but it seems to have been trampled into powder. This figure is also very puzzled. Originally, he was responsible for tracking Xiao Yang's team to hide his whereabouts and did a good job, but where did he think that it was because of his own negligence that he stepped on this twig, and the slightest sound was made Xiao Yang noticed something? Forget it, the overall strength of this team is not bad. Although there are some Lingshuan's strength in the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, I think this little witch is not that difficult to deal with. In addition to the other one who has just stepped into the early stage of the 6-star Do Emperor. The woman and the 2 late-stage 5-star Do D people want to come to this team. The figure on the branch said, slowly disappearing. Wait a minute. Xiao Yang always pays attention to the figure on the branch, because Xiao Yang's huge soul force has already locked it down. Once the figure has any plans or actions, Xiao Yang will not hesitate to launch an attack. What's the matter? Mu Yingying realized that something was wrong with Xiao Yang after Xiao Yang said that there was some movement. Now that she said that, she was even more sure of what she was thinking. That person is gone. Xiao Yang said calmly. Who? Ling Xian asked half-answered. I think, we seem to be being watched. Xiao Yang immediately spoke slightly. Is being targeted? Mu Feng immediately frowned when he heard the words, because although Mu Feng has a big heart, he is still a thoughtful person, so naturally he would not naively think that this task is just a task. It seems that although this mission is the main theme, it will still add various seasonings to us. Xiao Yang smiled slowly, but the meaning contained in his voice was obvious. It seems that someone is going to do something to me. Mu Yingying's beautiful eyes moved slightly, although she vaguely discovered that they were being targeted by the power of the holy flame in her body, but she was not specific about the mysterious person. The location is not very clear, but he did not expect Xiao Yang to be so terrifying in front of him. Take one step at a time. Xiao Yang heard the words, and the huge soul power spread out immediately, and then led a few people forward, and the exploration with soul power opened the way. Xiao Yang and the others almost avoided most of the dead beasts along the way. As for the individual dead beasts were fled by Xiao Yang and the others on the principle of not doing anything as much as possible. After all, Luo Lingshan couldn't recover the vindictive qi that he had consumed, so the few people still used their vindictive energy sparingly. Captain, find a team. The next moment, under a big tree, a few figures slowly appeared, headed by a man in a rudimentary dress. The man looked very good, obviously the strength it is extremely tyrannical. As for the man, there are 1 woman and 3 men. When these people are on them, I am afraid they are extremely terrifying. What team? What is their strength? The captain said slowly. In terms of strength, there is 1 6-star Do Emperor in the early stage, 2 5-star Do Emperor in the late stage, and the little witch in our dungeon. As for their leaders, I don't see the strength clearly, as if they were isolated by something. The figure who appeared behind Xiao Yang and the others said slowly. Ling Xian's team. The man in charge said slowly, obviously thinking about something. Team, it's not too late. If it's too late, I'm afraid others will get on board first. A teammate next to him said eagerly. Let's go, let's meet this team first. The man who led the team said slowly. There is only 1 quest above the Red Nightmare level quest, and no other information about the team quest is mentioned. Obviously, to start the remaining quests, you must defeat other teams and get the wooden card from them before you can start the quest related. Explain, because there is only 1 mission above this Red Nightmare, and only starting with some details can help us to create a mission better. So, Little Witch Lingxian, let our rainbow team come to meet you. After finishing speaking, the man in charge raised his arms, and then the 5 figures suddenly moved up and whistled towards Xiao Yang where they were. Strange, why do I feel like someone is always staring at us? Green Flute said slightly, and then his eyes suddenly turned to the back, as if he was looking for something. What's going on? Seeing this, Xiao Yang glanced at it immediately, and found that the green flute seemed to be moving, and hurriedly spoke. Come out. At the next moment, the green flute seemed to have discovered something, and the thing was covered in green aura and turned into a huge energy snake, attacking a certain bush. Shabu. At the next moment, in the bushes covered with weeds, a small magical beast was suddenly shaken and flew up by the terrifying attack. Where to run? Green Flute's eyes were fast, and when his figure moved, his jade hand raised slightly, and he appeared directly at the place where the little monster was about to escape, and grabbed it with a slap. This is sighting bird. Ling Xian slowly stared at the small monster on the palm of the Green Flute, and suddenly exclaimed, "Sighting bird." Xiao Yang slowly came to Green Flute's side, currently watching the monster in Green Flute's hand. This is a small monster with a beautiful pupil. As for the feathers all over its body, it is slowly the same as the surrounding space. If you don't look carefully, you may not be able to find it. The sighting bird is said to be a magical beast specially used by humans to spy on the enemy. Although its strength is extremely low, it has some indescribable benefits for surveillance. Mu Feng hurriedly surrounded him, and then faced the man in the hands of the Green Flute. The monster opened his mouth. "It seems that we should be targeted." Xiao Yang's head was constantly scanning the surroundings. Just now Xiao Yang realized that several of his own people seemed to be targeted by others, but after the mysterious person left, Xiao Yang didn't find anything. Weird things immediately let down their vigilance. Who would have thought that there is such a hand? Since this little trick has been discovered, then we are no longer hiding it. Just as Xiao Yang and the others were constantly looking for suspicious people around, a laugh suddenly came out. Who is it? Xiao Yang suddenly drank it, and was immediately a little surprised. It was a strange thing that these people could escape his perception. Rainbow Team. A dull voice came out slowly, and then the figures of 4 men and 1 woman slowly appeared in front of Xiao Yang and the others. "TMPH, it's actually you." A disdain came from Ling Xian's mouth instantly. Ads by Pub Future. Ling Xian didn't have any good impression of these people in front of the team, because among these people, there was one person who pursued him and was not rejected at first. "Hey, Ling Xian, I met here today. Without the Palace Master and many senior brothers, I want to see how you can defeat me." Among the 5, one looked good, but the voice revealed that some chilly taste. "Humph. Shuju, don't think that I don't know what you are thinking. If you want to match Miss Ben, you are not qualified." Seeing this, Ling Xian suddenly showed her aura, and her strength in the middle stage of the 6-star DI was suddenly reduced. Exhibition, no doubt. The power of a 7th-rank student. It seems that the Palace Master is really willing. The man who Ling Xian called Shuju smiled slowly, but there was a strong jealousy in his voice. How can this Ling Xian have the power of a 7th-grade student? Is it because she is the daughter of the Hall Master of the Earth Palace? If it weren't for the fact that she was the daughter of the Hall Master of the Earth Palace, I'm afraid this woman would only be a flower in her life. Do you need help? Xiao Yang obviously did not understand the grievances between Ling Xian and the Rainbow Team, but because the 5 people were a team at this time, and considering that there was no way to recover the grudge in Luoling Mountain, he couldn't help speaking. "No, it's between me and him. This time, I will definitely beat him all over the floor to find his teeth." Ling Xian smiled slowly, but the majestic aura hidden in the smile could not escape Xiao Yang's eyes. Although this Ling Xian is a bit stubborn by nature, her strength in the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor is no joke. Xiao Yang smiled slowly, and then looked at the 2 arguing with each other in the arena. "Shuju, don't say I didn't give you a chance." Ling Xian said seemingly unintentionally, but she was actually angering Shuju, because based on Ling Xuan's understanding of her, this Shuju was an impatient person. People, once provoked by themselves like this, they will definitely take action. "Humph. Little witch, this time I will definitely beat you to the bottom of your body, so that you know what true power is." Shuju Zhentian drank it, and immediately took a step to fight against Ling Xian. "Calm me down, this Ling Xian is clearly trying to provoke you. Don't forget the identity of Ling Xuan's little witch." In the next moment, a figure beside Shuju slowly pulled Shuju and spoke immediately. Ads by Pub Future. The daughter of the Palace Master of the Earth Palace, this is undoubtedly placed anywhere, and I am afraid that 5 people dare to shake the existence, otherwise, no one can bear the anger of the Palace Master of the Earth Palace. But, I can't hold my breath. Even if I was rejected at the beginning, but there were so many people at the time, this Ling Xian refused so bluntly, I don't accept it. The next moment, Shuju roared, roaring the unbridled wild horse. "Hey, go, be careful not to hurt her." The figure said helplessly, and then said slowly. Shuju felt relieved when she heard the words. Since she agreed to go with me, she must be ashamed. Strange, that Xiao Yang who is rumored to be in the Hall of People, The aura on his body is so strange. The only woman in the rainbow team spoke slowly. The woman's black and beautiful hair, and the beautiful bangs on her forehead, can't help but make people criticize the word beautiful with the perception of a woman, Xiao Yang, who is smiling unexpectedly. I felt a sense of fear that I had never heard before. This Lingxian is really a troublemaker. Mu Feng shook his head, looking at the arrogance of Lingxian and Shu Zhu in front of him, and said immediately, "It's not my fault. This Shu Zhu confessed to me in front of many senior brothers without authorization. How did I know it was so good at the time? Since I didn't like it, I refused directly, although that method might be a bit wrong. But if you don't like something, you can't force it." Lingxian's momentum weakened slightly at this time, and she turned around and said something to Xiao Yang and the others. "Oh, this looks exactly the same as Nailan Yangran. I'm afraid that Nailan Yanran's way of doing things was the same as this Lingxian." Xiao Yang heard the words, and suddenly felt a little bit in his heart, obviously influenced by what Lingxian said. "Okay, you can fight hard. This Shu Zhu's strength is also in the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, and although his life force is far less high than your rank, the invisible murderous aura on Shu Zhu's body is obviously experienced. It's a real life and death battle." Seeing that something was wrong with Xiao Yang, Mu Yingying said to Lingxian slightly. Mu Yingying's attitude towards this Lingxian can be considered lukewarm. After all, with Mu Yingying's attitude towards people, apart from Xiao Yang, I am afraid that she will not treat others, even Lingxian, the daughter of the temple master. There will be a little change. Are you all right? After Mu Yingying finished speaking, Wei Wei turned to Xiao Yang and tried to comfort Xiao Yang. "It's all right, I just remembered something." The next moment, Xiao Yang swept away his previous emotions and looked at Lingxian and Shu Zhu in the arena, as if a battle was about to break out. "Humph. Lingxian, you rejected me directly in front of many brothers and sisters and made me disgraced. Today, I will let you know what regret is," Shu Zhu said viciously, and the power of white life slowly radiated from her body. "Come out." After arriving at the 6-star Do Emperor, after passing through the 6-star Do Emperor's life calamity, the Do Qi in his body has slowly transformed into the white energy of life. "Humph. Although I admit that what I did in the first place was indeed a bit wrong, this lady is not something you can chase after you want to." Lingxian suddenly snorted, and then a strong breath emanated from her body. The reason why she rejected Shu Zhu in the first place was not because of Shu Zhu's talent or strength, but because Lingxian vaguely felt that Shu Zhu had a ghost in her heart. "Look at the move." Shu Zhu looked at Lingxuan's enormous strength of life, and immediately roared, then moved slightly forward, and roared towards Lingxian. "Fire whip!" Lingxian let out a coquettish roar, and then the power of life around her body was mixed with the power of flame, and then the of life suddenly transformed into a fiery red flame whip, which slowly wrapped around Lingxuan's hands. Earth Shield. Seeing this, Shu Zhu was slightly startled. This Lingxian was far from being as powerful as she is now. Why is she so powerful now? However, Shu Zhu did not hesitate. The next moment, the power of life directly formed a huge light shield of nearly 5 meters in front of her, trying to use the light shield to stop Lingxian's attack. A rather comical scene suddenly happened. Lingxian kept twitching the fire whip in her hand, and waved waves of fire with fierce energy to attack Shu Zhu's light shield, and Shu Zhu could only suffer for this. Hard to support. The two were at a stalemate because of this. "Captain, that person seems to have strange qualities." While Shu Zhu and Lingxian were fighting with each other, the only woman in the rainbow team slowly came to the captain's place, pointed at Xiao Yang not far away, and whispered softly. I don't know why, this woman actually felt an extremely terrifying fluctuation from Xiao Yang. This woman's name is Ari Lin, and she is the only woman in the rainbow team. Although her strength is only a 5-star Do D, but in the team where the other 4 members of the rainbow team are all 6-star Do D strong, no one dares to do so. Look down on her. Because Ari Lin possesses some peculiar powers, such as the means of detection and surveillance and huge soul power, even if Ari Lin is not a pharmacist, his soul power is much stronger than that of ordinary people, which also makes the rainbow team attach great importance to him. After all, in this Luoling mountain tempering, if there are not some strange people, I am afraid it is extremely difficult to walk. As for the captain of the rainbow team, his name is Fengling, who is a real mid-stage 6-star Do D. Even though his strength is only in the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, but Fengling's strength, if he is against the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor of the same level as Shang Lingxian, I am afraid that he will be defeated within 10 moves. If it is said that Shu Zhu and Lingxian are both in the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, then Fengling's strength is no different from reaching the peak of the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, and it is only 1 step away from the late 6-star Do Emperor. I also found some weirdness about this person, but I can't tell exactly what is weird. Team Rainbow Captain Fengling said slowly. Just from his own perception, he found that Xiao Yang's strength was unfathomable, and that Mu Yingying next to Xiao Yang was extremely beautiful, but a closer look made Fengling feel a chill. The strength is extremely terrifying. The overall strength of this rainbow team is not bad. The strength of this captain is probably about to enter the late stage of the 6-star Do Emperor. As for the others, there is a middle stage 6-star Do Emperor and 2 early stage 6-star Do Emperor. Adding that woman, the strength of this team should not be underestimated. Green Flute's keen sense of smell naturally found the eyes of the Fengling team, and immediately her beautiful eyes flashed slightly and said, "That woman seems to have some secrets." Xiao Yang didn't have the heart to pay attention to these. Although the strength of the captain of the rainbow team should not be underestimated, it was far from the point where Xiao Yang was afraid. He was the only one in the rainbow team. The woman surprised Xiao Yang. The battle seems to have reached the white-hot stage. I don't know who said something. The two people who were at a stalemate in front of Xiao Yang and the rainbow team suddenly burst out and launched an attack in an instant. Hu Jiao. Ling Xian let out a coquettish cry, tightly holding the huge fire whip in her hand, and then she swung her right hand vigorously, and suddenly a fire jiao mingled with hot waves of fire suddenly appeared in the space in front of her. This fire dragon just appeared, and suddenly a force of life that was several times stronger than before suddenly filled out. The force of life was also mixed with a lot of terrifying power of flames, which made people's scalp numb. The fire dragon just appeared, and the temperature in this space suddenly rose, and then Shu Zhu's complexion was extremely ugly, because the predecessor of the fire dragon was transformed by the power of the 7th rank, and it contained the flame of Lingxian. The power of life, if resisting this fire dragon, obviously need to pay a lot of price. After all, the rank between the power of life is not so easy to make up for. Drink. Earth Shield. Break it for me. Shu Zhu didn't have time to think too much, so she had to condense the energy of life in front of her to form a larger white light shield, trying to resist the attack, but no one found Shu Zhu. On the other hand, a terrorist attack condensed by the power of life is slowly brewing. Shu Zhu. It's over. With the tyrannical power of a 7th rank student, Lingxian forcibly consumed a lot of Shu Zhu's power in a short period of time. Immediately optimistic about the opportunity, she suddenly burst out with a powerful blow, trying to destroy this Shu Zhu. Beat. Although this Lingxian has a good temperament, she still lacks some practical experience. Maybe she didn't realize that Shu Zhu has already decided to go all out. Xiao Yang smiled slowly. Everything Shu Zhu did naturally couldn't escape Xiao Yang's eyes. In the end, I still have too little experience. Naturally, Mu Yingying also found out what was wrong with Lingxian, and immediately shook her head. Boom boom boom. While the two were talking, Shu Zhu, who had always been at a disadvantage, suddenly broke through the light shield in front of her, and immediately slapped Lingxian with her palm. A majestic force of life with destructive fluctuations directly hit Lingxian. Damn. When Lingxian saw this, she was slightly startled. Obviously, Lingxian didn't expect this Shu Zhu to have this trick. This Shu Zhu was clearly beaten by herself before, so why is there such a terrifying offensive now? But what Ling Xiao didn't know was that the reason why Shu Zhu had been showing weakness before was to kill him with one blow at this critical moment. After all, Shu Zhu knew that there was an insurmountable gap in each rank of the power of life. Go to hell. Shu Zhu's eyes were red, flashing madly, and her speed was extremely fast. In a short period of time, she smashed the fire dragon transformed by the power of Lingxuan's life. The breath did not decrease but increased, and she slapped Lingxian abruptly. If this palm is shot, I'm afraid this Lingxian will have to peel off her skin if she doesn't die. It's too late. The next moment, Lingxian hurriedly wanted to withdraw her life force to defend herself, but Lingxian realized that she was too late in such a short time, and there was a flicker of fear in her eyes. Am I going to die like this? Feeling the terrifying fluctuations that were getting closer, Lingxian only felt that the space around her body was frozen, and she couldn't do anything. A chill poured into my heart. Die. You made the shame I suffered before at the cost of your death. Shu Zhu's face turned hideous, and then the terrifying attack in his hand suddenly smashed down, and the devastating attack instantly attacked Lingxuan's body. Captain, is Shu Zhu crazy? Although this Lingxian is arrogant, her own talent and strength are not bad. It is said that she is also the daughter of the palace master. If so, she will fall, I am afraid. There was a hint of concern in Ari Lin's eyes. Ari Lin knows Zhu's strength, but this terrifying blow can only be avoided by the real mid-6-star Do Emperor. Although Lingxuan's strength has reached the mid-6-star Do Emperor, "It is a beautiful flower," could not bear such a terrifying attack, and immediately said. Ari Lin is very clear about Xu Zhu. Although Xu Zhu is a good person, she is easy to go to extremes. Therefore, even if Xu Zhu has good strength and talent in the Temple of the Earth, she is still rejected by Lingxian, and she is still rejected by the Temple of the Earth. The Lord doesn't like it, and this is a big reason. Don't worry, I believe he is measured. If it really doesn't work, I will take action. And I know that his heart has always been trapped in the knot of Lingxian. I am afraid that only after experiencing this time will he be able to get rid of this knot. Otherwise, he won't get out of this knot for a long time. For his future growth. Fengling couldn't help but be slightly surprised when he saw the huge smoke in the field caused by Xu Zhu's attack. Don't you feel ashamed to bully a little girl? The smoke slowly dissipated, and a disdainful voice with extremely powerful suppressing power was instantly transmitted. What? At the next moment, Fengling, the captain of the Rainbow Team, and Ari Lin both had heavy hearts. Because at this time, a rather shocking situation appeared among the several of them. That Lingxian had already sat down on the ground, her whole body had been withdrawn by her, and Xu Zhu's figure rose into the air. Xu Zhu's palm patted the void above Lingxian. The huge black ruler slowly blocked it. Go away, Xiao Yan shouted loudly, and then a dazzling flame of Douqi suddenly exploded above the ancient ruler of the eternal fire, and Xu Zhu, who had been desperate, was suddenly shaken away, and the bullet flew out dozens of meters. You. Seeing this, Ari Lin hurried over to support Xu Zhu. Humph. You're acting like this is too deceiving. Seeing this, Fengling couldn't help but snorted coldly. No matter what Xu Zhu did, this Xu Zhu is currently a member of his Rainbow Team. This Xiao Yang actually labeled Xu Zhu like this in front of his captain. He was the captain. How can you not be angry? What's wrong with me? I'm just treating people's bodies with the way of others. If you don't agree, let's go up together. Xiao Yang said casually, then slowly put away the ancient ruler of eternal fire, and looked slightly at Lingxian below. You. Don't be too arrogant, do you know who our captain is? One of the teammates of the Rainbow Team in the early stage of the 6-star Do Di hurriedly spoke. Obviously, Xiao Yang's arrogance had already aroused their anger. Let me do it. Although Fengling was angry, but fortunately, Fengling was also the captain of the Rainbow Team. His determination was far superior to that of Superman, so he returned to calm after a brief surprise. Even if Xiao Yang released such cruel words, he immediately thought about it slowly. Because people with discerning eyes can naturally see it, there is a lot of rumors about Xiao Yang's strength in the outside world, and it is said that Xiao Yang killed the twin ghost emperors before, who is the real ghost world powerhouse, so Fengling has to be serious. I could have defeated him if you didn't make a move just now, but how could Ling Xian's arrogant character say thank you so easily? If it wasn't for the fact that Xu Zhu's move was too unpredictable, Ling Xian believed that with her strength in the middle stage of the 6-star Do Di it would naturally not be difficult to defeat Xu Zhu. Next. Xiao Yang heard the words, and naturally ignored Ling Xian, handed him a few medicinal pills, and then his eyes returned to Fengling. Take it, this is an elixir to restore your exhausted strength. Mu Yingying also spoke immediately in order to support Ling Xian. When Ling Xian heard the words, she was stunned for a moment. Obviously, Ling Xian felt that she was already very cold. She never thought that Mu Yingying, who was always cold, would take the initiative to talk to her. Captain, he's fine, it's just. Ari Lin checked Xu Zhu's injury a little, and found that Xu Zhu was not in any serious trouble, but there were some things that were difficult to say. Just what? Fengling was holding back his anger. Hearing Ari Lin's words, he immediately said angrily. It's just that Xu Zhu was attacked by some forces in her body. Although there is no danger to her life, she should not be able to wake up in a short time. Ari Lin said with a bite of silver teeth. Little bastard, I think you're tired and crooked. At the next moment, Fengling did not hide his strength, and a huge breath permeated instantly. Although this Xiao Yang's strength is hard to fathom, but at this time in the trial in Luoling Mountain, Fengling knows better than anyone about the team's task and the wooden card, so he coveted the wooden card in Xiao Yang's hand, and immediately said in his heart. The peak of the middle stage of the 6-star Do Di. Xiao Yang looked at Fengling's burst of breath, the corner of his mouth moved slightly, and then he spoke. If that's the case, then come on. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth stirred a dangerous arc, and then he slowly stared at Fengling. Boom boom boom. The two of them were not procrastinators, the terrifying fluctuations were born in an instant, and then they slowly converged together. Fengling met with one hand, and Xiao Yang met with both hands. The speed of the two was extremely fast, like a gust of breeze blowing past, slowly passing by, and then the two figures slowly froze. "You're very strong." Feng Ling couldn't believe that he used to rely on the strength of the midterm peak of the 6-star Do Emperor even in the entire palace. His strength was enough to rank in the top 10, but in Xiao Yang's hands, he felt powerless for a while. Although the fight just now only lasted a moment, Feng Ling knew that Xiao Yang in front of him was definitely not easy. The power of life in his body is as high as rank 7, and it only takes 10 rounds to deal with Lingxian, but to face this Xiao Yang, it makes him feel unfathomable for a while. If it wasn't for Feng Ling's use of some special means, he would have been defeated directly by Xiao Yang. This person is very strange. There is obviously no fluctuation of vitality, but the fluctuation of flames all over his body. The shock to me is too terrifying. I think this guy is probably the real 6-star fighting emperor. Feng Ling staring at Xiao Yang slightly, he found that there was an inexplicable and powerful force in Xiao Yang that was slowly shaking him. "Go ahead, Feng Ling. If you lose, leave the wooden sign behind." Just when Feng Ling was already thinking of quitting, Ling Xian, who was beside him, smiled slowly at him, with a malicious smile in his smile. The smell slowly emerged. "Bastard, you actually know the secret of this wooden sign?" Feng Ling was shocked when he heard this. "Humph, don't forget who I am." Ling Xian naturally ignored Feng Ling and smiled slowly at Xiao Yang. "Damn, I forgot that this little witch is the daughter of the palace master. The secret of the wooden sign seems to be unable to escape," Feng Ling said coldly, and then his eyes became cold, and a fighting spirit emerged. This video will end here.